Okay, let's talk about investing in Japanese real estate. It can feel like, well, a total maze, right? On one hand, you've got these glittering towers in Tokyo. On the other, you hear about houses in the countryside going for next to nothing. And then there are these booming ski resorts. So, where do you even start? We're going to map it all out and give you a clear guide to making a smart move.
Yeah, this is the big question, isn't it? Tokyo, the countryside, or a resort? Each of these is a totally different path, with its own set of risks and, of course, rewards. We're going to explore all three today. But before we do any of that, there's one fundamental rule you absolutely have to understand. It pretty much governs everything.
Right. Before you fall in love with a location, you've got to think about something a little less glamorous. Safety. Look, this is Japan. It's one of the most seismically active places on Earth. So the most important part of any building isn't the cool view or the open-plan kitchen, it's the engineering that's literally holding the thing together. This is the unseen foundation of all real estate value here.
And this timeline here tells a really interesting story. Japan has been working on this for decades, constantly making its building rules stronger and stronger. But look closely. There is one year on this list that changes everything. It's a date every single person thinking about investing in Japan needs to have burned into their brain: 1981.
So why is that date so critical? Simple. Pretty much any building that went up before June of 1981 was built to an older, much less strict set of earthquake standards. It creates this bright, clear dividing line in the entire market. You've got buildings that meet the modern safety code, and you've got the ones that don't. So what exactly changed in '81? Well, Japan brought in this really brilliant idea called two-phase seismic design. And the concept is actually pretty simple, but it's genius. Phase 1, for the kind of medium-sized quakes that happen more often, the building shouldn't get damaged at all. It should just shake it off. Phase 2, for the really big, scary, once-in-a-generation quake, the #1 goal is just don't collapse. Bend, don't break. The whole point is to give everyone inside enough time to get out safely.
And this really lays out the difference when it comes to your money. If you're looking at a pre-1981 building, you're buying a box of questions. Is it really safe? What's a retrofit going to cost me? All that uncertainty just tanks its value. But a post-1981 property, that gives you peace of mind. It's lower risk, and because of that, it's just worth more. And crucially, it's way easier to sell later on. Okay, so with that foundation in place, let's explore our first path.
All right, path number 1. We're calling this one the urban fortress. This is your path if you're looking for stability, for safety, for being able to sell when you want to. And it leads us straight into the heart of cities like Tokyo. Just think of it like that, a fortress built on a solid foundation of modern, earthquake-compliant buildings.
And the numbers here really do speak for themselves. I mean, look at this. Prices are expected to climb 5 to 6%. The occupancy rate in the main 23 wards is a whopping 96.6%. That's practically full. Foreign investors, they're making up over a quarter of all deals. And you've got steady rental yields. This isn't some wild speculative bet. This is as close to a blue-chip investment as you can get in real estate.
Now, this kind of stability doesn't just happen by accident. It's all about the fundamentals. You've got a constant stream of people moving to the city, you've got world-class infrastructure, and you have this huge, deep pool of people looking to buy and rent. And what that means for you, the investor, is liquidity. You can pretty much always find a tenant when you need one or a buyer when it's time to sell. Okay, let's shift gears completely. We're leaving the safety of the urban fortress and heading out to our second path, the rural gamble. Out here, you'll see prices that are just unbelievable, sometimes literally a few $1,000s or even free. It sounds amazing, right? But like the name says, it's a gamble. Just look at that number, 9 million. Let that sink in for a second. That's the estimated number of abandoned homes, they call them akiya, in Japan. That massive oversupply is exactly why the prices are so low. But it's also a huge red flag. You have to ask yourself, why are 9 million homes just being left to rot?
And here's your answer. It connects right back to that one golden rule we talked about, 1981. A huge number of these beautiful, traditional-looking homes were built way, way before that crucial date. And yeah, they look amazing, they're architecturally significant, but from an investor's point of view, they represent a massive and very expensive problem that you now have to solve. And that problem is seismic retrofitting.
And hey, don't just take it from me. Listen to what the pros are saying. This is a quote from Kachida's, the biggest home rehabbing company in all of Japan. They say they only end up buying 1 out of every 10 vacant homes they're offered. Think about that. If the experts who do this every single day are walking away from 90% of them, what are the odds for a regular person?
Right. Because that super low purchase price, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The renovations can easily cost 2, maybe even 3 times what you paid for the house itself. I mean, we're talking serious money. Up to 3.5 million yen for a roof, another 3.5 million for the walls. And that's before you even start on the essential and very expensive seismic retrofitting. All of a sudden, your free house is a financial nightmare.
So, we've got the stable city and the risky countryside. Is that it? Is there no middle ground? Well, actually, there is. And that brings us to path number 3, the resort exception. This takes us to a very specific corner of rural Japan, the places that are absolutely booming with tourists. These are the exception that proves the rule. I mean, just look at this chart. It's wild. The ski town of Hakuba, their land prices jumped by 30% in 1 year. That is 5 times the growth we're seeing in Tokyo. This is the polar opposite of the slow-motion decay you see in other parts of the countryside. This is explosive, pure demand-driven growth. So what's pouring gasoline on this fire? It's international tourism. A 63% year-on-year jump in people from overseas searching for places to stay in Hakuba. That one stat tells you everything you need to know. The word is out. This is a global hotspot, and all that global demand is turning directly into higher property values. But here is the absolute key difference. This is what you have to get. Unlike the IKEA gamble, this resort boom is built on a solid foundation. It's not being driven by people trying to fix up old, dangerous buildings. No, it's driven by investment in new construction, new hotels, new condos, new homes, all built to the modern, safe, post-1981 standards. Okay, so there you have it. We've walked down all 3 paths. You got the secure urban fortress, the risky rural gamble, and the high-growth resort exception. Let's pull this all together and give you a simple blueprint for how to think about it. This table really breaks it down nicely. Path 1, the city. High entry cost, but your main risk is just general market ups and downs. The driver is stability. Path 2, the countryside Alkia. Super low entry cost, but your risk is all in those massive renovation costs and finding a tenant. And path 3, the resort, medium cost, but your risk is tied to tourism trends continuing. The driver is that high-growth demand. Each one has a different trade-off, right?
So, after all that, what's the crucial point? It all boils down to this. In Japan, structural integrity isn't just some nice feature on a sales brochure, it is the absolute foundation of a property's value. The most important question you can ever ask is, when was this built? Because here, safety isn't a luxury. It's everything.
And that leaves us with this huge, fascinating question for the future of Japan. What's going to happen to those 9 million abandoned homes? Are they just going to become a bottomless money pit of expensive preservation projects? Or does this open the door for a whole new generation of safe, modern buildings to completely redefine the Japanese countryside? The answer to that is going to shape this country for decades to come.